Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the opening night of the Kino Cabana. It's the new gimmick show where we rake over the coals of Nick Fuentes and Ethan Ralph. Not really. We can't be arsed, folks. Instead, we're going to pick over the fucking burnt and charred remains of the Kino Casino. We're going to give everyone what they want. No time travelling. No getting in the TARDIS and looking at the glorious golden ages of the past. No. Instead, this is full scorched earth on the Kino Casino. Ground bait, red meat for the fanboys. Because at the Kino Cabana, music and passion is all the fashion. And Warski's Lola there, a washed-up showgirl, sitting in the Copacabana bar, box of wine in hand, 30 years down the line, wondering where it all went wrong. Well, we're going to tell you where it all went wrong tonight on the Kino Cabana. Why is it, folks, that to launch a show nowadays, we've got to call it the Kino something and completely sully what the definition of Kino actually is? All right, we've got a really great one for you today. I've got a lot of stuff lined up. Probably best is if we recap of what's happened to some music and we get into it. So I'm just going to play this and I'm going to start the recap. Right, so the Kino Casino, it burned. Upon my arrival, upon the second coming of Godwinson, it burned to the ground. And unfortunately, they couldn't take the fires and the flames that licked them. They couldn't take it. What we had was Warski having a nervous breakdown. He snapped. He couldn't take it. PPP and perspicacity, the head writer, a man behind so many great moments of the Kino Casino, decided to go live, do it their own way. Warski was fired, apparently. Warski was in rehab, apparently. Warski wasn't snorting boxes of wine, apparently. But the reality is that he was doing all of those things. Perspicacity and PPP teamed up, and this was the last throw of the dice. Would the audience take to it? Would the content be good? We were going to do this live stream as a stream snipe on Saturday night, Friday night, whenever they do their fucking shit show. We were going to pick it apart live on air, dancing to Barry Manilow in a floral print dress. Because this is a gown, folks. It's a gown now. I've lost a bit of weight. Unfortunately, no such show transpired. Why? We're going to get into why. Because it seems to me, ladies and gentlemen, that PPP is washed. He's fucking washed, folks. He's lost his mojo. He just can't do it anymore. And on this show, we're not only going to look at the fallout, we're going to look at the future. Because we've sent people to pilfer content from all over the place. Someone has breached the paywall of the Gumroad. The Gumroad that they hitched everything on. It truly is a sad tale, isn't it, folks? The rise and fall of the Kino Casino. Right. But before we get into all that, I just want to show you a few things that have been happening of late. And probably the best place to start. Probably the best place to start is this. Because the rise and fall of the Kino Casino has produced some great stuff that I want to share with you. Okay, so this is a cartoon that a brave neat samurai drew. Thankfully, Andy Warski supplied his own voice for that. What a king. But you'd think, okay, a few light-hearted memes here and there. A few light-hearted memes. You know, just poking fun at the breakup, at the Warski being fired and losing for 15 seconds, I believe it was. 15 seconds. 27 seconds. No, it was 15 seconds. Someone went and drew let's find this. So what we have here is a Where's Wally of fan art. I mean, every so often one of these arises. Lots happen during Gamergate, and the look at that. Holy fuck. Every so often stuff like this arises, and they introduce all the cast of characters there, and you see Jim there. You see Jim in 360p there. Baked Alaska, you know. I think we can see Warski being knocked out. Nick Fuentes sniffing a cum sock. True high art, this. But you might know that, I don't know, there's one very prominent character on this poster. You know, look at that. It's PPP. He's wearing the sort of Walmart greeter uniform. Get in the car, Normie. You're about to get red-pilled. That's when you know you've made it, folks, isn't it? That's when you know you've made it. Now, the unbelievable cringe of this image shows me how cyclical things are, and how characters of the past, underdogs of the past, have become exactly what they fought against. We shouldn't be endorsing fan art of the sector. At that point, had he sold out? No. I just wanted to highlight that because, again, they leveled up. The artists were out in full force, and probably the greatest one happened upon their no-show on Saturday. And consumers posting their L's online has decided to lend his sword. He's lent his sword. A lot of people are saying, you know it's over when you've been soy-jacked. Well, this isn't just like a little bit of art that reached about 2-3 people. No, this has gone viral. It's gone viral. It's over. And there's people here, you know, just reveling in the Godwinson W there. Just reveling in the flames of it all. Immortalized. And this just keeps going, by the way. It just keeps going. You saw that one there. Godwinson strikes again. It's good to see history being catalogued in a tapestry that future generations can look at and try and comprehend what went down. What went down. Did I ever think that PPP would end up like this? Bloodied and dead after selling his soul to Andy Warski? No, is my answer to that. We're in a timeline where, bizarrely, all of these things have happened. So, let's just analyse that deal with Andy Warski to a tune, shall we? What tune did we line up? Okay. So PPP's cold in the cabin. He's shivering in the Canadian wilderness. Surfers thrown him out. He's got no way of making money. He's refusing to get the COVID vaccine. He's refusing to go back into the line of work that he was in prior to all this. So he decides to use his only lifeline, his phone a friend. That's Andy Warski. He says, Andy Warski, I need you to help me grift. I need you to help me, teach me the dark arts of grifting for pennies in the gutter to an audience that despises me. And Worski said,
Yeah, let's go. Let's do this.
And Worski decided to use his dad to funnel in a load of super chats to make it look like they were more successful than they actually were. They decided to monetize 2 talking points that PPP had been on for a quarter of a century. He decided to use Nick Fuentes and Ethan Ralph as the primary focus for all content forever. Seemingly forever. But Worski had a plan in mind, because Worski wasn't about the drama. He saw himself as above it all. He saw himself as above all the insects that revelled in pointless e-drama. His gamble was on an Instagram account. He was going to shill himself up as the next heavyweight champion of the world. He was going to become Mike Tyson, Tyson Fury, Conor McGregor. And in Koksky's addled brain, this was a possible alternative. People fed into those delusions. Keemstar popped up and decided, you know what? I'll indulge Andy Worski on his delusions. I'll ensure that Andy Worski takes enough cocaine and boxed wine that he actually steps in that ring and gets pummeled by that Sulpapi fellow. Keemstar would then laugh about it and make more money than the Kino Casino has in 10 months, in 15 seconds. Keemstar would decide to throw in about 10 grand that they could split between them both, Andy and Ashton, and he'd be laughing all the way to the bank. Truly, truly poetry in motion. And once the fantasy was indulged, there was life after. Could they go back to doing the show after that public ritual humiliation? 15 seconds. Could they actually go back to doing their regular show, week in, week out, criticising others when they have behaved far worse? Well, seemingly not, because they took a month off and came back with a Legend of the Bog Hog documentary, where they went round some swampland in Canada and pretended it was Ethan Ralph's. Because remember, the moral of the story, folks, everything's okay that we do, as long as we can point at Ethan Ralph and go, he's worse. That's how men behave. Moral, upstanding gentlemen of our time. But it didn't work. It didn't work. So they decided to go back to Fuentes and Ethan Ralph. Talking about Ralph farting again. And Fuentes eating a French fry gay. But the audience, they weren't happy. They wanted them to address the 15 seconds and not live in Copesville. Not call Andy Worski a courageous man for flying all the way to London and being murked by a Sulpapi. So it didn't work, and the people needed a champion to finally set ablaze the last embered remains of the Kino Casino. Bizarrely, Worski thought he could walk back from all this. He thought by drinking himself into a coma every night on the show and snorting as many lines of dry powdered white wine, he thought he could bounce back and have that redemption arc. Mainly, they were dependent on Jim delivering that redemption arc, just as he had done prior. Many, many times for Andy Worski. Just as he'd done back in July, when we first exposed the truth of the Kino Casino. But Jim didn't come, and Worski had a nervous breakdown. And that deal that PPP made with the devil, with Satan himself, with Andy Worski, a baby aborting degenerate, that deal now lies in ruins. Because when we think about it, what came from that? Where are the allegiances and the alliances? How come PPP can't just call up one of the many cast of characters that have appeared on his show and say, hey man, Come be my co-host. Why are we reliant on dragging the writer from the back room and forcing him to get on the show? Why? What happened to the deal? We're going to show you now exactly what happens when Lucifer and his minions drag Dr. Faustus after his 28 years into hell, and you've got nothing left. Apart from what exactly? A Cope Discord with your head writer telling you it's all going to be okay? There used to be a creative energy behind all this. Alas, this is what we have now.
I get that, but, Biden doesn't, you're trying to get money from the Democratic Party. Maybe they...
Now, sometimes I have to double take and wonder, am I watching the kill stream? Because this is content and a level of commentary that I'd expect from Ethan Ralph's kill stream.
It's just so clear that he's just going to vote however he's fucking told. And that's basically the campaign that they're running. This guy will vote however the fuck.
That's what I'm saying.
Witness
Just
this.
say fucking vote. You can't let Trump win. And honestly, he's probably still somehow going to find a fucking...
How can they fraudulently call this the Kino Casino?
He's going to be
Insane
Dr.
part
Oz.
of all. I would not be shocked one bit. I would not be shocked.
Pennsylvania
at all if he
is a
actually
swing
won this
state,
race.
so I wouldn't be surprised if Dr. Oz won. It's really kind of hard to say. This is a real... I just can't see how anybody's going to vote for this guy who's just a stroke that he can barely string a sentence together.
Somehow 85 million people voted for Joe Biden.
What a disaster, ladies and gentlemen. It's over. Isn't it? Isn't it? I think we'll line up another bit of piano as we tell you the next part of the story of the Kino Casino. I just don't know how you can make your name railing on Ethan Ralph and specifically attacking his content, calling it boring, calling it so shit it's unwatchable, to the point where you have to recycle it to make it more entertaining. And then you reveal your hand and you do a show that's even more subpar than one of Ethan Ralph's. The reality is, that is content that Ralph had covered that very night, or even earlier that week, right? When did we get to this? How did we get to this? Okay. So, you may be thinking, oh, maybe they're just making it deliberately boring in order to deflect from the drama and diverge away from the drama. Because that's what we used to suspect Ralph of doing, right? He'd make his show so incredibly boring, he'd review or do commentary on films with Rand in order to make it so boring that there was no content there to react from and no audience to be generated by destroying them. Maybe that's the tactic. You might be thinking that. Or you might be thinking, as I'm thinking, that the guy is washed. And he's talking about a debate which has no relevance to what him and his audience are interested in, at all. You may be thinking, good Lord, is this really the level we're at? I can't skip this ad. That's why we're stalling for time. But we're going to tell the next part of the story now. So as you might know, it's actually November 2022. And in November 2022, Josh Moon, a man who shivers to death in the Siberian wilderness, a man who has had his whole life his work produced in that life robbed from him. The Kiwi farm seems to be up and down like a fucking yo-yo. But Josh Moon decreed that November 22 would be no Ralph Vember. No Ralph November. And in No Ralph November, it seems that the Kino Casino can't even put on a show. They missed this weekend. They didn't deliver a show to their audience because there was no Ralph. Because it's no Ralph November. But the Kiwi Farms, they decided to rename Ralph's section on this forum to the Kino Casino. And now they are the content. They have become the content. So instead of being able to read Ethan Ralph's threads and compile a show from the clips and the posts that have been presented there, they have only themselves to look at. A mirror has been shown to their faces and revealed that they are no better than Ethan Ralph. What a great tale. And it's not based on a true story, with a few fictional additions mixed into the mix. No, it's real! It's real! Winter has come early, folks. I think it's snowing. And we've not even had a Kino Cathedral to cope about it. We've not even had a Kino Cathedral to cope about it. But in No Ralph Vember, Ralph has decided to do a bit of digging, right? So as you might know, they decided to set up this Kino Cathedral, right, in order to bring back the solo streams of old, in order to win back the audience that hates them, right? The Kino Cathedral. But our detective here, Detective Ethan Ralph, pay, set up a new gum road to sell their boats is fired angle. Matt, no! Only problem is it's under the Kino Casino account, which is ran by who? And Walski. And he's got the damning evidence here. So this is the Kino Cathedral Gum Road. Why there needs to be a gum road, I don't know. It's got 2 ratings, 5 stars, Andy and PPP. Welcome to the official gum road for the Kino Cathedral. And as you can see, it's been set up by the Kino Casino account that Andy Walski runs. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. And let's not pretend that Ethan Ralph has become Columbo or Poirot or even Inspector Frost. Ethan Ralph has probably drunkenly searched for all of 10 seconds the gum road and blown the lid on the whole case. Ralph didn't go to police academy, folks. Ralph went to jail. But even Ralph can see the shit. Ralph went where none of us had to go. We didn't have to see shit to smell shit. The Kino Cathedral Gum Road. So it begs the question, doesn't it? How involved actually is Andy Walski at this point? You might have realised that he's gone radio silent on Twitter. Radio silent for like a week now. Because the cope is that he wants you to believe that he's in rehab, that he's getting his act together, that he really is going to do it this time. He's going to get off all the substances that function him. X'd out. But he wants you to believe this. Meanwhile, in the background, him and PPP are trying to split the money. It certainly looks that way. And it's disgraceful. If you're going to fire Warski, fire him. Lay his cards on the table before him. Hand him a P45. Say, thanks for everything, but goodbye. And there is the door, sir. Don't lie to the audience. Don't have Warski in the background, probably using the money right.
It's okay, Aston. Keep splitting the money. I manage all the payment processing. But keep splitting the money because I will go to rehab.
And I won't just spend it all on boxed wine and cocaine. Holy fucking shit, folks. Holy fucking shit. But instead of doing the Kino Casino last night, or on this weekend that's just passed, no. PPP decided to pose in front of things, whatever this is. That's PPP there. Right? And there's a physiognomy check. What? What has happened? People are saying he's grown birthing hips. He's giving birth to the child that Andy Warski aborted. What the fuck? What the living fuck? You've got Tommy Wiseau in the background, sort of going, what the fuck? What is going on? What on earth? But this ain't all of it, folks. This ain't all of it. So on Halloween night, he decides to irony bro post about his current situation in the same manner that he raked Nick Fuentes over the coals for. He goes, my face when the whole Kino Casino burns to the ground and we're stuck with a gay Iranian Jew as a co-host. Happy Halloween. Now to me, his face there isn't ironic. I don't see a joke there. I see real pain and anguish. I see a man who realizes exactly what's happened, how it's gone down, the pact he's made with the devil. But I also see a man who refuses to take the long road back. I see a man whose eyes are purely motivated at this point in time in the shilling of a gum road, so that he and Andy Warski can split the money and Warski can lie about going to rehab. Holy fucking shit, folks. What a disaster. And as you can see, he's wrapped up warm because winter is coming. The gum road. The gum road. You might be thinking, Kino Casino pay pig, that if you just pay, you can get access to this high quality nectar in Kino on the gum road. You might be thinking that's the way forward. All the good content's on the fucking gum road, you might be thinking. Alas. I have a song lined up that I wanted to play here. So, we sent a brave, neat samurai to breach the paywall and deliver all of the gum road. And as you can see here, this great content. PPP reviews Prey 2022. Better Call Saul Season 6 thoughts before the finale. PPP reviews The Bear Season 1. PPP reviews Elvis 22. PPP and Warski watch Australian Survivor, Season 8, Episode 24. PPP and Warski watch Australian Survivor, Season 8, Episode 23. PPP and Warski watch Australian Survivor, Season 8, Episode 22. PPP and Warski watch Australian Survivor, Season 8, Episode 21. Now these are all hours and hours long. PPP and Warski watch Australian Survivor, Season 8, Episode 20. It continues. Every episode for 8 seasons. PPP reviews Kenobi Episode 2, then gives up to review Episode 14, Season 8 of Australian Survivor. The Gum Road, folks. It keeps going. PPP and Warski watch 90 Day Fiancé, Season 9, Episode 4. 90 Day Fiancé watch Season 9, Episode 3 for 2.5 hours. Two hours 15 minutes. 90 Day Fiancé watch Episode 2. This is where all your money's going and all the time that they're using to prepare the Kino casino that's actually making them the money and garnering them the audience so they can sell 90 Day Fiancé reviews to them. Let's watch this. Let's witness this. BitChute don't want to play it. BitChute knows it's shit.
We're here with our other series, Watch What After Survivor, the 90 Day Fiancé.
He's more excited for this than he is on his fucking show. Where's the box of wine and the coke he's snorting?
Who he lives in a fully white house. Very odd behavior. But the most...
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
The poor black man.
This is the sound of silence.
South Dakota trying to get this supermodel.
It's the Gum Road, folks. Where all the great content is.
This is going to be so good.
It's gonna be so good.
I can't remember the other couples. I'm sure I'll remember.
Meanwhile, on his show that he's supposed to deliver,
Excited for this app.
the Kino Casino,
Like the Brazilian fucking young.
he can't even get it to... He's drinking water there. Holy fucking shit. He's sober as a judge.
Yep, okay. Oh, yeah.
All the effort and time and preparation has gone into this.
And,
The Gum Road content.
one more.
The 90 Day Fiancé
Guys,
reviews.
Here we go. An hour 25 again. All
It's fucking horrendous.
all the apps.
And as we just continue going through, right, you can see that all of the prep time has purely been put on the writers. Because in the week, all they've been doing is watching 90 Day Fiancé and Australian Survivor. Not just doing 1 or 2 episodes and giving their takes, but doing whole fucking seasons of 26, 27 episodes. And then half an hour before their show's supposed to start, they jump on a Discord with Brian, the King of Pole, Perspicacity, and the Squire, and entitled as fuck, ask them to give them all their shows and clips so that they can deliver tonight. The fact that they've had to hide this stuff behind the Gum Road, it betrays how shameful it is. The one bit you might pay for is PPP and Warski watch the Ralph and Rand debate. But that's sandwiched in between Survivor, watch, again, an Australian Survivor, bit of bullshit reality TV, and more episodes of 90 Day Fiancé. People have asked, all they seem to do, right? They don't have anything to do in the week. Neither of them work. They don't work a 9-to-5 job or any job. Their job is this. How come they can't put more effort into the content? Why is the Kino Casino just Ethan Ralph clips and Fuentes clips? There's your reason why, folks. That's exactly the reason why. Because they're watching any bullshit reality TV show. Every episode of any bullshit reality TV show, putting it on their Gumroad, selling it to you, under the promise that, oh, you might think this show, this Kino Casino, this Rate Back is shit tonight, but just sub to the Gumroad, it's all better over there. We're saying stuff we can't do on YouTube, on the main network. This is too hot for TV, folks. Fucking 90 Day Fiancé watch, Season 9, Episode 16. It's deplorable behaviour. Fucking deplorable. Because you know what I want to get back to, folks? I want to get back to when the audience was treated with respect, they were entertained, and they behaved and responded to the content like this. Wholesome. That's what it's about, folks. That's what it's all about. It's come to light as well that apparently in that interview Worski turned up an hour drunk for with Pod Awful the other night, that Worski is constantly raging and spurging out every time he's reminded of his 15-second knockout to Salt Papi. In fact, he hates anyone who says 14 seconds or 13 seconds or lowers the number of seconds that he was knocked out at. I mean, I gave him a generous 27 seconds, purely so he could come back and go, no, it was 15. But instead, he's getting angry the moment anyone points out that it was 15 seconds or lower. It's giving him a nervous breakdown because they, the boards, are having a panic attack. And coaches coming on pictures about Melanie Worski. So I just wanted to just remind everyone. Fuck.
Disadvantage. We saw Copy in the back. He has got some skills, but the power edge goes to Andy Worski. Free minutes from Copy in the black, Andy Worski in the red.
There he goes, folks. There he goes. 15 seconds. 12 seconds. 5 seconds. Holy fucking shit. Hopefully that's enough. That's enough, right? To make Andy Worski have that dark moment of the soul. In the darkness, after his second box of wine, where he holds the revolver in his hands, puts it betwixt his mouth, presses the trigger. Hopefully them 15 seconds can carry him forward to his next journey. Fantastically, I think this GIF perfectly encapsulates where we're at. Perfectly encapsulates where we're at.
No more 90 Day Fiancé reviews to scam the pay pigs to buy. No!
Meanwhile, we've got a dancing Salt Papi here, dabbing on his fucking grave.
Aston, I still love you.
Fucking piece of shit. I wonder what was going through his head in that moment. I wonder if he wished he didn't abort his own fucking son. No, In fact, let's talk about the story, right, of him. Let's actually get into the story of Andy Warski aborting his child, because it's so fucked that every time we joke about it, we kind of skirt over the darkness present, right? Now, he did fucking abort his kid. The story itself is truly fucked, and I just want to say that those who wish to follow me, I welcome with my hands, folks. The story of Andy Warski aborting his son in order so he can continue this career of watching 90 Day Fiancé reviews.
Those who wish to follow me, I welcome with my hands. And the red sun sings to last into the hills of gold. And peace to this young warrior without the sound of guns.
So once upon a time, Andy Warski was with a fat pig called Sinead. And bizarrely, she loved this retarded gentleman. She tried to get him away from this internet thing that was killing him. It was forcing him to snort coke for other people's amusement and entertainment. And she decided, you know what? I'm happy for Andy Warski's seed to be planted inside. And she was happy to bear his son. But Warski said,
No! I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be successful.
and what he did, right, he put a bag over her fucking head, forced her into his car with a shotgun on her, sawn off, by the way, drove her to the abortion clinic, dragged her out of the car. Her fingernails were on the car door, and we've got pictures to prove it. He dragged her in, hair first, into the abortion clinic, forced her to have that abortion, with crowd-funded super chats paying for the procedure. And just to make sure that his own son was out of her, on the way out, on the stairs down, he decides to push her down those fucking stairs. What a piece of shit. And to add insult to injury, that poor woman, years later, she decides to find out where Andy Warski is now. Where is Andy? What's he doing with his life? Did he finally make it? Did he finally become a made man, like Drunken Punk? She decides to go and see, oh, he's doing the show called the Kino Casino. And she can see him laughing about his own son being murdered. He can see him talking about how he wished he ate his fucking son. And we're going to show this now. Because this is what Sinead saw. Barren, childless Sinead. Just while we find the clip, we're going to show you this.
I've had enough. Yeah? Are you fucking...
At that point, I wish Andy just never got back up. I wish PPP had a heart attack, fell on Andy, smothered him to death, and we never had to suffer him ever again. That PPP got up is a true shame. A true mark of dishonour. Right, we're going to find this clip then. Not only is he laughing about aborting his son on his flagship show, but he's displaying no regrets over it, with PPP alongside him. Now, they haven't taken this down from YouTube. Has it been flagged? Have they just flagged all this shit from YouTube? It's horrendous. Hang on. Bear with me. So when I've typed in Warski aborted baby, it gives me this.
You love Gantt charts? Here's how easily you can build one in ClickUp.
56 million abortions occur annually worldwide, and though opinions on the matter are strong, many are simply unaware of how they actually work. So, regardless of whether you're pro-life or pro-choice, what actually happens during an abortion? Abortion procedures range from taking a pill to surgical options, often based on availability or how far along a pregnancy is, and 92% of legal US abortions.
I imagine that it was made this way purely for Andy Warski to comprehend the murder of his own son. We need coloured felt tips to fully convey the consequences of Warski's actions.
Take place within the first 13 weeks of gestation. The oral tablet is effective 49 days from one's last menstrual period. Often containing mifepristone, it works by blocking the hormone progesterone. Progesterone promotes smooth muscle relaxation in the uterine wall throughout pregnancy, and so the pill causes the uterus to contract and the embryo to be expelled in what seems like a heavy period. Vacuum aspiration is a surgical procedure usually used up to 16 weeks after conception and is typically performed under local or general anesthesia.
That's Sinead there. Having her son murdered. Just so Warski could shill a Gumroad in a few years' time in order to review 90 Day Fiancé, an Australian survivor.
The cervix is numbed and opened wide enough to pass a slender tube into the uterus.
A slender
where suction
tube.
is used to empty the contents. Within the same timeline, a DNC or dilation and curettage abortion can be used. First, the cervix is dilated using small instruments or medication, and then a curette is used to remove the contents of the uterus. If a pregnancy is between 12 to 24 weeks, a D&E or dilation...
To be fair to this guy, I'm learning more with every stroke of that felt tip pen.
After 21 weeks. In a D&E abortion, the cervix needs to be dilated wider, often using osmotic dilators, which are short rods made of seaweed or synthetic material.
Seaweed?
Which absorb moisture and slowly stretch the cervix. These are usually inserted the day before surgery. Once dilated, fetal and placental tissue is removed via vacuum aspiration for...
This was the last experience of life that little Andy Warski Jr. Went through.
And often due to severe fetal anomalies.
Okay. It's truly fucking awful and evil what happened. The man murdered his own fucking son. Forced Sinead to murder his son. Paid for it, laughed about it, said 10 out of 10 he'd do it again. And what a great life he's led. Without Andy Jr. What a fucking great life the man's led. Let's look at this one. This was the highlight reel that he put up prior to his fight with Salt Pappy, hyping himself up as the world heavyweight champion.
We will respond. We will respond. In the burning heart there, just about to burst. There is a quest for answers and an unquenchable thirst. In the darkest night, rising like a spire. In the burning heart, the unmistakable fire. It's a fervent
Lil Andy didn't get a chance to review 90 Day Survivor to an audience of scammed pay pigs. Lil Andy didn't get a chance to get knocked out after 15 seconds by Salt Pappy. And little Andy didn't get a chance to snort as much box wine as he possibly could, so he could go incoherently do his one responsibility of the week, which is perform on a show where you're mocking Nick Fuentes for eating a French fry gay and going, oh my God, Ralph's just farted. Little Andy didn't get the chance to do that. So why should we allow Warski to do so? Christmas. I think it's going to be a good one, folks. I think we're going to have a real great bit of news just after we've opened all our Christmas presents. We're going to log on and we're going to go, wonderful. Andy Warski, when was he born? 1984? Andy Warski, February 9th, 1984. Andy Warski, 26th of December, 2022. Rest in peace. Rest in fucking peace. That's about it, really. I mean, we can go over Warski turning up drunk to Jesse's stream.
Podcast, and now doing a call-in Discord show.
This is Jesse,
Oh, that's all right.
the new co-host.
Sorry, Andy. I was reading a comment from an angry guy on.
Are you entertained?
Kiwi Farms about this stream where he's mad that I'm clickbaiting because it was a lie because you didn't show up.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, that's funny you say that. He says this faggot never fails to be cringe. So I am now dancing on your grave. Jump from Kiwi Farms. Okay, you're actually number one dogs. Number two.
I think Warski actually goes on camera, and you can see how well the recovery's going. He's fucked. He's out of it.
There's no withdrawal for money.
This is sober Warski, building his life again.
I wish at this point I did coke.
Now let me ask you this: when did you have this conversation with PPP?
Literally 30 minutes before we talked.
That's what I thought. Now, did this conversation go down because he knew that
Fucking
you
degenerate.
had to come to this program right here to this stream?
Fucking child-killing degenerate.
Now, there are people out there, namely Godwinson, claiming that you had a plan in place to replace PPP with me. And this is massively terrifying to PPP. Does that have any validity whatsoever?
Literally never.
Never.
And that's what I said here.
But
If you want to.
Well,
yeah, there we go. So that's the future of the Kino Casino, from the looks of it. So if you're an Andy Warski fan, you get to watch him every night, fucked off his face with Jesse from Pod Awful. And if you're a PPP fan, the future is Percy and doing a kill stream show where you review a debate of two politicians. Deal with the devil, folks. Deal with the fucking devil. Let's do a Q&A, round out the hour, and we'll play ourselves out. Ask anything. The future is cold, indeed. Shiver me timbers, folks. I think winter's come early this time as well. PPP is seething in the chat. Maybe he should go back to the writer's room and put together a show instead of reviewing 90 Day Fiancé on a Gumroad. How hard is it to actually do a Kino Casino show? Shall we write it for them, folks? Let's do the right. Let's be the writers. Let's democratise the writing process and no longer have it in the hands of Squire, Persip and Brian. Right? Okay, so, intro. It's the Kino Casino with every gimmick in the land. We've got jokers. We've got constant riffs on the casino theme. That's how it started, right? Why they call it the Kino Casino now when it's purely just a blanket behind PPP, a towel, an unpressed towel with a roulette wheel on? Where are all the gimmicks, right? Where are the jokers? Where's the gambling present? You know? And instead of just doing Ethan Ralph and Fuentes content, why don't we actually look around for a bit? Bit longer than 30 minutes before we go live? And actually find out what's been going on in the week. and actually prepare a take on what's been going on in the week. And instead of dragging the show out for about 6 hours, interspersed with every 3 minutes super chats, America Mathicus for 20, why don't we just do the super chats at the end? Or only read the valuable ones that add to the content? How fucking hard is it, folks? How difficult is it? Use promo code... Use promo code helicopter ride when you buy your Wild Smile fan... Is Wild Smile returned? Let's go, champ. Next Antediluvian stream, when? We might do one, actually, tomorrow night. I watched a hit piece on James Rolfe that I really wanted to cover. Whatever became of Jay Friedan, the RPG fanatic? Well, he lives in a trailer in an RV, and he gives, like, RV travel tips, and how best to economize living in an RV. And he also gives, like, millennial manliness tips. How to keep yourself in check as a middle-aged alcoholic. Maybe Warski should watch it. Did you see Jim's review on the Coke stream? I haven't. I think Jim streams on Odyssey now, that I can't be arsed with. Are you going to buy Bayonetta 3? No. Will PPP fit into the cabin in the woods again? No, he might just have to lie in the snow. Rest in peace, James Rolfe. James Rolfe is still alive and still making great content. He might have been mind parasited, like PPP and Warski. He might have had the mind parasite from that guy who likes the Gengars, that fat guy with the glasses who likes Gengars that polluted James Rolfe's mind. But deep down, he's still the man that made hours and hours of truly great content. People are saying, go on Cozy TV. I've had an offer, but I just don't... Cozy's got a great interface. It's probably preferable to YouTube. But it's Cozy TV. And I'm not signing up with America First, guys. It's nuts. We don't sell our soul for pennies, I'm afraid. Even if the offer is quite good. Will the Hounds of Hell claim what is left of PPP's soul? I don't think it's going to feed the Hounds of Hell. I don't think there's enough left of PPP's soul to feed a fucking starving Jack Russell, let alone the Hounds of Hell. What happened to Comfy? Well, Comfy was their alternative that they set up with Culture War Criminal. That arrogant fuck. Despite all the characters that are a part of this, Culture War Criminal is a Judas, an arrogant fuck, and I hate him more than all of them. Team up with Ralph and Fuentes, sell your soul? I don't need their sword. I don't need the help of them. Because those that wish to follow me, I welcome with my hands. Cultural Criminal wears a fedora, and that tells you everything you need to know about the man. Piece of shit. Judas? Traitor? Is the Kino Cabana going to be a regular show? No! No, it's not. Who gives a fuck about calling something Kino and completely sullying what's left of the term? Ooh, what a great show this is going to be if we stick Kino in front of it and bastardize the definition. It's a gimmick, and it's shit. Are you going to keep making videos past this? I'm going to try to. How much does one need to offer to sell your soul? Well, what one needs to offer, really, is creativity, is a creative vision. It's not about the money, folks. It used to be about the music, man. And I'm still out here playing the music. Still doing the Kino Dogme 2007. You're not going to catch me reviewing Australian Survivor and 90 Day Fiancé. Will you accept the offer to join the Lotus Eaters? Maybe. When are you going to release the Jim Sterling wrestling video? We had a good time watching Jim Sterling IRL do his wrestling, and bizarrely, and believe it or not, he actually lasted longer in the ring than Andy Warski. Jim Sterling, son. You should review John Wick. What flavour is the vape? It's cola. I don't like it. Oh God, Australian Survivor, just shoot me now. That's exactly my feelings as well. Did you play Triangle Strategy? No. To be honest, I've not switched on the Nintendo Switch in about a year. I've been on the PS5, bros. Will you review £300 Life? I think that's what this whole A-logging of the Kino Casino has been, hasn't it? One big long review of the £300 Life. Blue Raz is the only flavour. Well, bizarrely, every time I go to the shop, the flavours change. And so a flavour I will like one time, I go back the next day, it's gone. What the fuck? Keen for God of War, yes. Okay, we're ending the show now, and we'll end us out with something.
Do you love Gantt charts?
It keeps trying to make me use Gantt charts. What is a Gantt chart? It's done, folks. It's over. The Kino Casino is ashes on the ground. And there has been no survivors. Hope Warski dies around Christmas to make my Christmas better. Hope PPP can stop reviewing 90 Day Survivor and shilling a Gumroad and actually produce a good show for once. I hope Hersit gets some dignity and says if we're going to do a show, let's actually rehearse what we're going to talk about. Someone says a Gantt chart is basically a timeline. It's a flawless victory. Flawless victory. It's been GODWINSON tonight on the opening night of the Kino Cabana. Smugwinson. Let's do a Smugwinson face for the audience. This is what a winner looks like. Oh, by the way, donate to the Gumroad.